Brothers and sisters, generals, welcome to another edition of EBX Discussion and EBX and Lord Lamont Show, where I sometimes speak, have a discussion, and with the viewers and current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, I salute you and thank you, as well as Lord Lamont. And I will get in touch with him today. We should have a father and son discussion today because I feel like speaking and we didn't get to last time. So, anticipation of positive energy and connection, especially with our children, with family and just good people and brothers and sisters in general in the world online. It just makes you excited to want to connect with people or listen to brothers and sisters who have, good intentions deep within and just trying to lift and raise and give some information and insight to brother, sister, family in the world online, like our ancestors did. I always honor the ancestors, man, who fought so very hard for us, brothers and sisters, who is a general, brother and sister, far and near. The body may later rest, but the spirit lives on through us forever. We never forget those who fought hard to get us where we are. That's what keeps us grounded, at least in my opinion. And it's wonderful to be in that space, and be appreciative and keep forging forward, as many of us are. Like I say, I'm just a messenger. And once we have studied and went through a lot of the levels and the uncomfortable stages of our life and all that, I'm telling you, once we reach a divine power, it cannot be matched. Now, I spoke on this before within a podcast, but this is actually a topic, and I'm telling you, divine power cannot be matched when it's locked in deep within that soul. And then we begin to spell breakers. Let's conquer our life, all areas of our life, all points of our body, whatever we got going on, whether it's in our personal life, something we see in the world, conquer it, brothers and sisters, so we can come into our graceful years, a warrior, but balanced, as brother, sister, family, male, female, because conquering our life is the best thing one can do for one life. It's a beautiful space to be. But it takes, for some of us, different strokes, different folks. But as long as we get there in the right amount of time, because as we know in this world with this social media and all these things going on, and, time can move very fast depending on who we are and how we regulate our time. As a podcast my son and I did, Lord Lamont, the art of regulation and navigation. We better know these things in this life. And I'm telling you, we can breathe and we can see things, and it's good to work on things and, be young at heart, so we can radiate on the outside, because that's the secret to brothers and sisters looking young, male or female, that mindset deep in the core of that soul, because stress is some of the sickness, if not all. Stress is the root of some sicknesses in our body, because we know how. I'm talking about real hard stress where we're not listening to nothing and we just weary all the time and not looking for solutions. Now, that kind of stress is what can be a gateway for diseases, so to speak, to enter, because when we're not thinking right and we're not looking for solutions, especially when we're not aware, we're just vulnerable for things to enter our mind, body. And so everything we do in this life, as I said before, all plays a part in our immune system, how strong our immune system is. And our immune system is very, very important. It's like the motor of our body, because we have to keep our immune system strong to be able to heal. And I'm talking about physically. Before we even get to the spiritual, we have to do things healthy for our body too. That's for me too now. Not saying that I'm an expert in this area, but if we're paying attention and we learn in this life, we can almost become our own doctors. At least be aware if we do have to go to the doctor. I've said this before, but we could at least be knowledgeable about things that's wrong with us. So if we do go to the doctor, as I've said, when they throw these big ass words at us, we can understand and ask questions. We learn this over time and not just going for things and jumping off impulses. Step back, observe, and learn. I'm telling you, we come through leaps and bounds in this life when we do that. And when we start seeing results of right choices, that'll become, let's make that an addiction, right choices in life and seeing others do well and how we share our experiences and somebody actually take our advice and change their life. That's amazing. That's the great thing about energy. When we pass it on, when we see it in others, it's wonderful. And sometimes we might pass on energy to someone we won't see for maybe years or months at a time. And that great divine and Mama Nature will bring it right on around. We beat and forgot something good we have done. I'm sure many of us have experienced this, and it makes it all worth it. You're like, man, thank you, or sister, thank you. Something we've done, we forgot all about, and it comes back around. Life has a way of doing that. Sometimes soon, sometimes later. But great divine and Mama Nature has a way of showing us that it acknowledges us, especially when we're in that space, because that's what the great divine and Mama Nature feeds off of, positive energy all day long. Of course, we see the negative, as I always say, but we don't absorb it. We learn from it, and don't ever lose ourselves in toxicity, not even a little. Don't even observe it. Don't even look at it. Like when I see ads and stuff like that, if it's something negative, something I don't even look at it. I click off the volume, or I even turn the TV or computer, whatever I'm watching, because I don't know about other people, but I take my psyche very serious, because things can linger in our body and our subconscious, and so just be as clean and pure in our soul as we can. And it's about perfect intentions. Remember, we're thinking about our immune system, not just trying to be this upright, positive, perfect person. No, it's about health, a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy soul. So that's where a lot of these great teachers and warriors, platform or not, revolutionaries, those who have brought truth to the world and or public, that's mostly the grounded reason why we express positive things, to keep us healthy thinking, again, healthy body, so we can do the things we need to do that great divine and Mama Nature has called us to do. Have to be healthy to carry out, righteous things in life. And because again, as humans, we don't know what's coming down the road. You know what I'm gonna say? I always say, great divine, Mama Nature always knows, brothers and sisters. So we better cling to those two forces. Not maybe if, no, we better. And it's just amazing, things that will come along our path. But as I say, everybody has their own journey, but better be somewhat righteous. I mean, you can't be toxic and evil. I don't think we'll get anywhere that way, so be somewhat positive. It's just amazing the things, again, that will come upon our path. And that can be through a person, place, thing. And it can be positive. Don't always have to be negative. It depends on how we view ourselves and view the world. And it's beautiful. So again, when we step into that divine power, there is no match. Nothing can fuck with a divine warrior. And then we begin to conquer our life. Brothers and sisters, spell breakers, conquer our life. Remember the fires we went through. Okay, so that's how we know we can conquer anything. I'm talking about righteously, not conquering or having power over things or no one, because that won't get us nowhere. Appreciate abilities, skills, and that we have. I'm telling you, we will flourish in this life and pass it on to others, because remember, we're in the business of building generals. We all have had to build at some point in our life, so everyone has to go through that process. Many of our philosophers, as well as myself, we speak on this. There is no getting around the process of building one's mind and studying to maintain once we get to a place of peace or wholeness, as I heard from my great brother. Yeah, so conquer our life, brothers and sisters, in all areas, mind, body, and of course the soul, because that's the center of our world, or as I heard from a great brother, our inner verse. It's very, very important. And I want to give a salute to Killer Mike. And Killer Mike is an artist. We all know Killer Mike. Killer Mike is an artist, activist, revolutionary, man. Hell, that name Killer Mike, he got that for a reason. Dope artist. And I forgot to mention him. My son and I did a podcast called Positive Energy, Hip Hop, Positive Energy can keep it alive. It's hip hop, positive energy can keep it alive. That was the title of it. And we had Kid and Play on the banner and her thumbnail. And Lord Lamont and we were just speaking on when music was fun, when hip hop was fun, all kind of music, but we were just kind of basically speaking on hip hop and how positive energy can keep it alive, and it's not going anywhere. We got to speak good energy into it. And we were just speaking on different artists that brought truth and realism and fun to hip hop. And realism, Killer Mike would be on that list. And he was on the song with Outkast. Salute to Outkast, which brought beautiful music, a little realism too. And we were talking about rappers who were fun and conscious and just had fun with their craft, and didn't do it for the fame or the money. So we were just speaking on things like that. And Killer Mike was on that song, Outkast, whole world loves it when you see you in the news, la da da. You know that song, the whole world loves it when we sing the blues, la da da. And we were talking about how we loved that song, and they was kind of spitting some jewels in that song. And I had, for some reason, I forgot Killer Mike was on there. So salute to Killer Mike. He was featured on that song. I just happened to look at the title the other day, because that song's in my playlist. And I was like, oh man, Killer Mike was on there. I don't know how I forgot that, but I'm gonna have to speak with Lord Lamont about that. But salute to Killer Mike, which also was on that song. But salute to Big Boy and Andre 3000. And they have been, and I spoke on Killer Mike before too. He's actually been on Hip Hop Heavy Hitters Tribute podcast. He's been on hip hop list, artists I've had that I've listed. So I have spoke on him, but that particular song my son and I were speaking on, I forgot to mention him. So, he's important. He's an important tool in this hip hop culture and in culture, period. Killer Mike. So salute to Killer Mike. And I do got a little information on Killer Mike. Was this a dope brother, and him and T.I. are comrades. I've seen him, as I spoke on in the past. I've seen him and T.I. on panels together and discussing the ways of the world and stuff like that. So that's a great duo. And I don't know if Killer Mike and T.I. ever did any music, but I think that's a great collaboration. But I have to look that up. But Killer Mike is dope. And again, I meant to mention him on that podcast my son and I did. The Outkast, Whole World, which is a dope song, and we know Outkast, they phenomenal music, definitely different than a lot of artists. But again, salute to Killer Mike. And I want to read a little bit about Killer Mike for the hip hop, for the real true hip hop lovers and music lovers out there. All right, leaders and teachers, student spirit, let's go. Killer Mike is currently active in music, acting, and media. His recent activities include starring in the new TV series, releasing a new music project, hosting a podcast, and performing shows. I'm going to have to find his podcast and subscribe to him. Music and performances. New music project. In August 2024, Killer Mike released his 7th. I like that number 7. I was just speaking on that number 7. Wow. See how divine works? Let's go. Released his 7th studio album, Songs for Sinners and Saints, which is a TV series a lot of people know about. I've never really watched it, but I hear a lot about it. Must be a good show. All right, with his gospel group Michael and the Mighty Midnight Revival. Excuse me. This follows his critically acclaimed 2023 solo album Michael, which won 3 Grammy Awards. Salute. All right, live shows. He has been performing a series of live shows, including a recent residency at the newly opened Blue Note Los Angeles in September 2025. So that was recent. So he's still doing his thing. Salute, Killer Mike. And forgive me if I read any of that wrong. But salute, Killer Mike, still doing his thing. And I'm sure many of us know. Great brother, real brother, and he lives up to that name. Real talk. So he's put in some work for the culture and humanity. Salute. And many artists like him, as well as sisters. So I just wanted to bring him up because I felt bad because I didn't mention him in that song. If you go back in that podcast, and I put that in the end screen, because I think that's an important podcast, and I think people need to, let's speak good energy into hip hop and not let hip hop die. Let's not let it do that. I don't even like saying that. Hip hop ain't going nowhere. It's just shifting, and we just gotta guide it and shift it in the right direction. Because there are righteous rappers out there, artists. There are righteous artists out there. I'm connected to some of them. And that's brother and sister. You know, we just gotta lock on to them and support one another. Remember, we're not followers. We're supporters. We ride along. We're generals. We got to get rid of that narrative. We really do. Change our language. Take our old African ancestral language back. It was a time where our ancestors had a language. I'm talking about decades upon decades ago. Had a language that evil entities didn't even understand. That's why they did what they did. Jealous and ego driven. Colonizers. Y'all know how I go. But I ain't gonna get into that. That's a whole nother podcast. But again, salute to Outkast. Like I said, Killer Mike, which is on that song, Whole World, which was dope. I loved his verse. I had to go back and listen to it again. It was dope. And but salute to Killer Mike, and other artists like him. All right. So just wanted to bring that up. But he got that divine power. Let me tell you. I'm telling you. Again, as many of us know, Killer Mike definitely is a conqueror of his life. So conquer our life, spell breakers, at all costs. Again, without hurting ourselves or hurting no one else. Because great always come. That's a law of attraction as far as divine goes. Whenever we put something out great, it always come back. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It just depends on the individual, right? How we are. If we're ready for certain things to come our way, it can come soon or later, because we don't want to get things prematurely. That's why we have to let things flow naturally and don't push things. But some areas we don't push, but we don't give up. It depends on what it is, what we push in. Some things do take a little more challenge than other, but as we get along in this life and stay grounded in our righteous spirituality, to just let things flow and just do what we love what we do. I'm telling you, life will be a breeze, but we have to put forth the effort and make it a breeze, because a lot of times it's not just gonna come, but we don't stump on nobody's toes and just flow like Mama Nature and that great divine, because I'm telling you, great divine power can never ever be matched. Once we come into that truth, there's no looking back, folks. There's no looking back, so we might as well just pick up that torch and be trailblazers out here, and again, stay in the business of building generals, and just do what we've been doing. And great divine will be there with us, as it always been. And be thankful if we do have allies, because I know they're far and near. But if we do know who our allies are, be thankful, because some people don't. And again, I know we talk about social media a lot, but whoo, man, when we see some of the things that's go on this social media, and some heartfelt things, sad things, man. I'll tell you one story, and I really try to keep it positive, but we also know that there are realities out here. That's why I say positivity is a means for creating a better life. Again, I love the clouds and nature and the sky, but but we can't be naive and not know that there are realities out here, and how this social media can really tear down one's mind and have them doing things that people wouldn't really normally do. It's crazy. It's like it's a good part of social media. Then there's that bad, sad part. And I'll give an example. Like I said, I like to be positive, but my uncle Terry, salute to my Uncle Terry and my family too, right away. Salute to one's family. Always keep them in one spirit. And my mom and my dad, rest in peace, had a cousin transition, and my Aunt Vera, who owns the house. One is what I'm literally sitting in. So I always give them a salute, keep them in one spirit. But the ones who are no longer with us, rest in peace and in power, those we held dear. My family, to those who's listening, family, all right? I always do that. Y'all know how I feel about ancestors, far and near, younger or older. I got the utmost respect. And why do I do that? Because we're all going to be ancestors one day. Remember that. Ponder that. It's serious. But I want to speak on, my family members who are here, and my Uncle Terry sends me stuff through Messenger sometimes, because again, I don't be on a lot of these outlets, but I'll go into like direct messages or something. My uncle sent me something, and he sent me this video. It was really sad, but it's a reality. And the girl I didn't know what it was at first, but the girl was in the back. It was she was young. You can tell she was young. She was probably a teenager, or maybe she couldn't have been no more from what I could see in the little video. And it was only like 3 minutes, maybe a little less, somewhere around there. But she was young. She had to be no more than 18, if that. And there was another kid in there, but they had a hood on and I couldn't really see their face. And I was like, what is this now? You know how you look at videos and you can't tell, you can't see it real well. And she had something in her hand. I was like, what is that in her hand? And they was looking in the mirror and looking in the phone, but how the phone be facing the mirror, whatever. But they were looking into the phone and the girl was standing there and she had something in her hand and she had it up to the other individuals. I guess it was up to their head or temple or something. And I don't know what they were doing, and you can barely hear what she was saying. And all of a sudden, she jumped and fell back, and the other person dropped. I was like, what the heck just happened? So I watched it again, and I kept watching it, and I kept watching it. And I was like, oh, she had a gun in her hand, but you couldn't tell. I couldn't tell what it was, but I kept looking at it. And these girls was in this bathroom. One of them was a girl. I don't know because again, the other individual had a hoodie on. And it had, apparently the girl had the gun to the other person's head. And I don't know if they were faking or playing, but it was a real gun. And I guess it accidentally went off. So the individual with the hoodie on dropped. I mean, like a ton of bricks just dropped. And the girl had the gun, she dropped. And don't you know, folks, so I kept watching it so I could, really identify what the hell was going on in this video. And it was so heartbreaking. I almost cried. It was so sad. And the gun went off and the individual in the hoodie dropped. I mean, like a ton of bricks. I'd never seen a body drop like that. And because I've never seen nothing like that in person, so I can just imagine being there. And the body fell so hard that it made the other girl fall, and she fell. And she was so overwhelmed and so in shock. Do you know, brothers and sisters? The gun went off again. Pow! And she took herself out. And I didn't look at it. Once I figured out what it was, I didn't watch it anymore. Cause I don't glorify and shit like that. But I was just I was like, what? I couldn't figure out what it was that made them fall to the floor, and they were in the bathroom. And it was sad, folks. It really was. It was so sad. I almost cried. I didn't tear up, but my eyes did get a little watery. I was like, wow. And they were young, and so that's an example of what social media can do to the mind, and just think, if they didn't have that phone, would they even be doing that? And it's a lot of incidents like that. My son and I talked about this, where people have lost their lives live, and that's sad. I don't glorify and things like that. It's sad. If I see something going on, if I'm able to, if I can, if I'm like out in public and I see something, I'm not going to pick up no phone and record it. Unless it's to, give evidence to something happening or something. But just to be showing stuff, that's wrong. I would never do that. And if I could help the situation, I would try, but I wouldn't have no phone up there and all that. But yeah, it was sad. And she took herself, and you can tell, but when she fell on the floor, you can only see like the top of her head. And because they fell on the floor, you can see they was in the bathroom and somebody was banging on the door. And they was banging so hard, the door was almost popping open. They was like, what's going on? Boom, 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 boom. It was scary, folks. It was horrible to see. And you can tell she was in shock, because when the body dropped after the gun went off, it paused for a second. And you can see her just sitting there, but you could barely see her. You could just see the top of her head. And you couldn't really see the gun anymore, but you could hear it. And about a few seconds after it happened, pow, and her head dropped. And you can tell she took herself out. And I went into the comments, and you can tell people were really sad in the comments. I mean, it was just tear emojis all up and down those comments. And that's what one of the comments said, that she was showing shock. She couldn't believe what was happening, and she couldn't face what she had did, and she took herself out. So that wasn't positive, but realities, folks. That's why I say, man, I'm telling you, we have to be in tune with ourselves. And that's what keeps me grounded. And a lot of us, I can probably speak for those who are disciplined and not consumed too much by social media. I'm telling you, that's what keeps me grounded and just doing stuff to, like I say, these platforms are, you know, platforms are a place of expression and, not showboating and chasing and doing things for validation. I'm telling you, because it's a no man's land or a no woman's land. Really, and a prisoner of your own mind. It's the worst prison one could ever be in. I speak on that a lot. But that's what keeps me grounded. Stuff like that, and never underestimating the power of this thing, because it can. I'm telling you, even the most intelligent brother or sister, have to be careful. That's real talk. So you gotta be a little humble about this social media and or media, because things we see in TV and Hollywood and celebs, all that shit too. Gotta sift through that stuff too, because it all plays a part. So, but again, I just, that's just reality. That's just something one wanted to share, and it was horrible. I'm sure a lot of us probably have seen some of these things that happen on these cameras and phones, and so rest in peace and in power to those who were just consumed by the wicked side of social media. And that girl in that video, and but that Divine being there, that girl's family, I can imagine when they came in that bathroom. Oh my God, can you imagine? So may that great Divine be in her life, and man, get through that situation as best as possible, because that's a horrible way to find your child. Real talk, in the bathroom, put a period in that. I'm not going to describe it or nothing, 'cause, so yeah, so it's realities out here, brothers and sisters. So that's why a lot of us are, that's what develops a lot of teachers out here. And that's why, because we have, again, I spoke on how that's why we got these generals out here. Some of us have had situations like that where we almost could have lost our lives. So that's what make a lot of us appreciate life, and a lot of brothers and sisters that go in on toxic people. That's why, because we've been through too much. So and again, great Divine Mama Nature gave all of us, not some of us, all of us, divine abilities and or skill or some kind of purpose. That's how great Divine Mama Nature works. That's how principles work. But it's up to us to step into that authentic part of ourselves, So I wanted to speak on that, but keep it positive and protect our families and children, even in spirit. I mean, man, we can be powerful even within ourselves, and then it will vibrate on the outside. So the art of deflection, folks, conquer our life spell breakers by any means. Our personal lives, help others to conquer their lives best way one can. Of course, we don't be yes men or yes women, but we can tell a person something. But everybody has their journey and everybody has a choice. So, but of course, we know when we learn, most of us that are aware, we know our discernment. So we know who to give our energy to and not. So we don't need to split hairs, So I want to get to this hip hop break. And of course, I got a summary, and I wanted to speak on about divine inventory, how often we take a little divine inventory on oneself, just to keep ourselves sustained and stable in our mind, body, and soul. So I'm gonna speak on that when I come back, and y'all know I'm gonna have a hip hop break for a little musical stimulation, and it's beautiful to be stimulated. And I always said, in the early day or early morning times, is the best time to get one, to get motivated and set the tone for the day. It's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful space to be in. But again, we have to be in that space to be in that space. It takes effort, learning, paying attention, keeping that pineal gland open for righteous things. And the first song is Keep Your Mind Right. And the next one is That's the Deal. We speak that truth because that's the deal. We keep it real because that's the deal. We have that divine feel within because that's the deal, brothers and sisters. So again, if those on the, that haven't got to a place of awareness and wonder why some brothers and sisters are tough and ain't taking no shit. I'm talking about righteously, because we have been through too dang on much. So that's the deal. But that's the next song. But this song is Keep Your Mind Right. And this is a tribute to me and Lord Lamont. And this goes out to a brother that told me this one time. The only platform I've ever had my voice on. And he know who I'm talking about. And he told me, just keep your mind right. So this was an inspiration from a brother that told me this. So, and I made two versions of this. Well, I didn't make it. The first version was my son produced and made. Well, he didn't make the beat, but he got the beat from someone else. Another brother, I think is it's Golden Child or something like that, a brother that makes beats. Salute to him. My son and I did a song called Keep Your Mind Right, and that was part one where he and I collabed on, and I think it was our second song together, and he helped produce that and everything. So my son, Great Divine, was fortunate to give him gifts and skills and awareness too. So be thankful for our children if they have skills and smart, and staying away from toxic things in this crazy complex world we are living in. So that's all we got to do, folks. Brother, sister, family in the world online. Try our best to keep our or your mind right. Be back after this.
I keep your mind right, yeah. I keep your mind right. Brothers and sisters, keep your mind right. I never go out, yeah, without a fight. Keep your mind right. I never go out without a fight. Brothers and sisters, keep your mind right, yeah. I never go out without a fight. Keep your mind right, yeah. I never go out without a fight. Brothers and sisters, keep your mind right. I don't give a damn of what we gonna do. No, we ain't got no time. I'm in the hand no blues. Yeah. We gotta win up in this life and never lose. And gotta get a clue and never be confused. And I'm staying here and they ain't having no fear. I had sad times, sometimes had fear. I'm here and I will not front. And I'm glad to have my son, Lord Lamont. Yeah. We pushing on while we in these songs. And yeah, saying things, man, yeah, to keep us strong. Let's go. Moving through. I never stop this. Yeah, in the future, man, don't see no quit. I keep my mind right. I never go out without a fight. Keep your mind right. I never go out without a fight. Brothers and sisters, keep your mind right. I never go out without a fight. Man, I keep my mind right. Keep your mind right. Brothers and sisters, yeah. I'm staying on the ground. I keep on making the sound. I'm so thankful that I'm here and I'm around. Yeah. Like I tell you, I always see my children and my family. Yeah. I keep on moving on, yeah, in my zone. I'm so thankful the vibe protect my home, protect yours while we out here in this life. In this life, man, we gotta keep a fucking mind right. Yeah. Keep a mind right. Yeah. And never go out without a fight. Yeah. And man, we gotta keep a mind right. Keep your mind right. Brothers and sisters, keep your mind right. Yeah. And never go out without a fight. Yeah. Man, and keep your mind right. Keep your mind right. Salute to my generals, Lord Lamont, my family, my generals. Yeah.
Real talk. I mean, every word of that. Keep my mind right. Now, I played this song before, but like I said, it might be, I replay songs sometimes for those who may not have heard it, or a reminder, so I made a lot of them. I just got to go down through the list and kind of find them, again, got to get Lord Lamont, get his music back up, but he'll get there. He keeping his life stable right now. He protecting his, and on the banner here is this is a representation of a house of peace, because still waters run deep. You know what I'm saying? Because when we think of that great divine and Mama Nature, it's something smooth, peaceful, can be quiet, but also can be a storm at the same time, but a balanced storm, only when needed. You know what I'm saying? Just think of the divine storms we have been through. And then, it's beautiful to be able to stand in the middle of chaos and still be balanced. Not everybody can do that. It takes studying, awareness, effort, staying away from as much toxicity as possible. We can be just like this banner and conquer our life and protect our house of peace. And when I say a house of peace, not only just our house, but an overall thing, because we say the body is a temple, right? So we treat our body like it's a house. Our body is a house of peace. We got to protect that house at all costs. But as I heard a great brother say, we have to have that wholeness too, and it's beautiful, picking up, learning jewels from brothers and sisters or family, and it's just wonderful being receptive to good things that can benefit us in the future. Because I always say, folks, what we do righteous in the present will ultimately benefit us in the future. Because That's why a lot of us generals out here, brother, sister, family in the world, online. You know, we've been through too much dang on fire. So we got these tough generals out here because we keep it real. And that's the deal. So be back after this to get into this summary of divine inventory on oneself. And I got 4 spellbreaker statements, and I'm going to salute the divine warriors on your divine light. Be back after this. That's the deal, brothers and sisters. Keeping it real. That's the deal.
Shit. It's for my family, generals, myself. I gotta stay strong. Yeah. Brothers and sisters, gotta keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Try my best to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Try my best to keep it real. And divine, do this kind of stuff all the time. Try my best to keep it real. Yeah. That's the fucking deal. Rhyme, man, yeah, all the time. Yeah, with the divine, yeah, get your stuff out my soul. Man, up out my mind. Look, doing this, no one never quit. Yeah, in his life, never having a fear. Yeah, my words on this mic, yeah, try to make it so crisp. Yeah, be real in heart, that way we can make it far. Yeah, I be strong in this life and know, yeah, who we are. Yeah, taking these words up off my head. That divine is what I'm led. Keep doing this when I transition, cause I'm not dead and I don't die and I don't lie. And in this life and I always try, I ain't never low. Man, I stay up high, yeah, in the brain, stay in my lane. I never go, yeah, insane. Yo. We got to do this, yeah, family, brothers, sisters, man. Sisters, man. Do my best to keep it real. Yeah. And that's the fucking deal. Yeah. Do my best to keep it real. Brothers and sisters, and that's the fucking deal. Do my best to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Yeah. Do my best to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Yeah. Trying to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Brothers and sisters, still here, I'm still around. Like I always say, I'm thanking my God, man, that we here and he here, making it sound positive things all in my bones. Yeah, how man, I stay strong, protect, yeah, my brothers, sisters, family, and my home. Never stop, I love the bottom, say at the top. I love this here hip hop, yeah, on this mic, try to do it right with this insight. I thank the God for being in me. I will make it, yeah, in these streets, contest, yeah, with these words, making sure that we stay free. Try to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Yeah. Do my best to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Yeah. Do my best to keep it real. If I own this rhyme through all this time, yeah, on the dime. Yeah, I love doing this. It's a good gift and I never quit. Never be stressed out in this life. Yeah, man, so quick. Keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. EBX. Do my best to keep it real. And that's the fucking deal. Brothers and sisters, keep it real. This is how I feel. Do my best to keep it real. That's the fucking deal. Yeah.
Real talk, brothers and sisters. That's the deal. Why we keep it real, you know. So let's get back to the mojo so I can get into this summary and continue on, you know, riding along with my leaders and teachers, spell breakers, you know, breaking all toxic spells out here. So we're going to get to the Mo to the Joe. Let's see, here we go. All right. And we're going to break down this summary, brothers and sisters. And we're gonna dive into taking a divine inventory of oneself. How often do we do that, you know? And all right, let's get into it. Let's break it down. Leaders and teachers with a student spirit. Let's go. Taking a divine inventory offers benefits like increased self-awareness, spiritual growth, improved relationships, and alignment with one's higher power or higher purpose by helping us identify flaws, acknowledge strengths, and seek guidance for positive change, leading to greater peace or wholeness, as I heard from a great brother, gratitude, and a stronger connection with that great divine or higher power. It's a process of honest self-reflection, emphasis on honest self-reflection, no denial, okay? Often done daily or weekly to recognize shortcomings and virtues, shortcomings and virtues. Our deepest desires, what are they? Gotta tap into that because it's in our subconscious. Remember, things can hide in our subconscious. Learn from mistakes, our mistakes, and make amends, fostering ongoing personal transformation. It means if we have any type of bitterness or grudge, if it's insignificant, let it go. Things that's not good, that's negative, we hold on to, especially if it's years ago and you still holding on to it, you might want to let that go. We can't see the new if we're hanging on to the old. That's facts. All right. Especially when it comes to the what? The mind, body, and soul. Y'all know I be rhyming. All right. Last little summary. Deeper self-understanding, overstanding, or understanding uncovers our true nature, character flaws, hidden traumas, strengths, and weaknesses. We got to go through all those levels. Man, the trauma, the hidden, the weaknesses, then we get to the strength. We got to filter through those weaknesses. Because as I said recently on a podcast, when I first began, studying spirituality and, knowing oneself, you're going to go through some levels, whether you want to or not. You can, because we can't pretend. The great divine and mama nature, as I like to say, we'll spank that ass. It's going to call us out. Those two forces going to call us out. It's going to bring things along our path to see if we are who we say we are. We got to be about it. We learn this on this walk. That great divine mama nature, like parents, as I said, divine masculine, mama nature is feminine. They're like parents, not going to play with us. It's the same thing. They have principles, but we need that. If we have divine things happening in our life and good things coming out of nowhere, you better be thankful. That's a good thing. Stay with it. Stay away from the negative. If we can just get into that, a positive life, and see, we'll tell ourselves, why didn't I do this sooner? It don't have to be late in life. That's for my young folks, because ain't no fool like an old fool. I'm here to tell you, and we see a lot of that on social media, young and old, to be honest. But if one past them 60s and they healthy, I'm talking about ones who are doing this, because we got righteous, as I say, we got righteous brothers and sisters who might be up in age. And I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the old fools out there that just, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people like that. What happens? Well, I do know, but people have to want to get help. Can't help those, don't want to help themselves. It's utterly impossible, especially those who have been through fires enough and know that one can change. It gets to have that, got to have that willpower and seek it out. Get therapy, talk to someone. Don't just let stuff fester, because it'll fester out into our lives, because how we are will affect others we are connected to, All right. Because even if we're single and whatnot, we still got to deal with human beings, right? So we still got to learn, human nature and study those type of things, not just for others, for ourselves. So we can know others, because if we know oneself, we can kind of get an idea about others. Because if we in a place of awareness, that discernment will kick in, so. All right, so let's get to these spellbreaker statements. And again, on my banner here represents a house of peace within the world, within ourselves, and the righteous ripple effect. Remember, still waters run deep, a sense of wholeness is what we're seeking, and/or peace, a solid, strong peace, a heart of steel, where we let nothing devilish break it, and we see it before it even get to us, like the sun. Burn it up on the spot. We can be that powerful. It's not impossible. It's all how we think, All right, let's go. Leaders and teachers with a student spirit. First spellbreaker statement. Nothing great comes without focus and effort and right choices. Again, think of the right choices that a lot of us made to get us where we are. So keep on making right choices, but always be aware things may come. Expect the unexpected. It's not a paranoid thing. It's an awareness thing. As I like to say, we be glad we didn't do this. Be glad we didn't do that. So nothing great comes without focus, discipline, effort, and right choices. It's impossible. All right. Number 2, spellbreaker statement. Know who our real heroes are, and we support each other and not follow one another. I want us to change that narrative. We are not followers of each other. We support one another. We ride along. We all are a leader and teacher. It's just a matter of tapping into it. Remember, with a student spirit, and I say student spirit, I spoke on this before, so we can keep that spirit of learning. Never get to a space where we think we know everything. That's something I had to learn. We got to be receptive to learn things. That way we don't miss stuff. And, that's how we kind of keep that mama nature and divine flowing naturally, All right. So that was spellbreaker statement number 2. Know who our real heroes are, whether in our family, it could be in our children, brothers and sisters we meet in the world, or it could be online. But it all depends on our mindset, how we view the world, and what we have in our subconscious, and what our desires are, what our goals are. Will determine the circles we are in and how we interact with human beings, So, all right. Spellbreaker statement number 3. We are who we choose to be. If we're evil, rotten to the core, and things happening to us, and we're healthy and nothing wrong with us, that's who we chose to be. So we can't sit back and cry when bad things come, because, what we put out, what we get back, that's more than a saying. I feel like I say that a lot, but it's true, so we can't cry if we put out bad things out to the world and it come back, because it's going to come back. Same thing as positive. Again, anybody can have a somewhat easy breezy life, but we got to be aware of the challenges too. It's just, we can create a wholesome life or a peaceful life. It's all who we are as an individual. Again, we are who we choose to be. And I know it's kind of cliche. It was actually kind of in a movie, but it's facts. We are who we choose to be. So what we become in our golden years is because of the choices we have made along the journey. That could be positive or that could be negative. As I like to say, positivity is free all day long, but negativity can cost you in a subtle way or aggressive way, sometimes for your whole life, depending on what we do. Because I reiterate, we can do the smallest little thing that will F up our whole life. So ponder that. We are who we choose to be, brothers and sisters, general, family, spellbreakers. All right. Last but not least, spellbreaker statement number 4. Do a daily or weekly inventory on oneself. And I just spoke on that in that summary, but I wanted to end it on that. Do a daily or weekly. I would say a daily. Well, I mean, some days you probably do have to. Life will make you do a divine inventory though on oneself. So that's like meditating when we pray. Again, don't get lost into the traditional way of praying. Really like get into some deep thoughts and really think about some things. That way we can, because again, as it said in there, the more honest we is with our soul, things will manifest. But you don't think great divine, if we always talk about God. Some of us, not all of us now, because some of us do know the power of that real God now, not the pleasurized God, not man's God. It's about the real God that come deep within that core. Now, a lot of us are connected to that, but some of us pleasurize God. Do we really know the power of God? So what I'm saying that to say, being sneaky and I mean, it's a waste of time. It really is. If we really want to go with that narrative that great divine sees all, knows all, okay, people say that, but okay, then why are we sneaky and doing shit? Just come to that great divine, ask for forgiveness, and be honest with oneself. In my opinion, and/or theory, Mama Nature and that great divine would at least respect that, because it's energy. Honesty is energy. It's more than a feeling. It's energy. And again, Mama Nature and that great divine, that's what it feeds off of. Either positive energy, because it keeps things moving smooth and naturally. So gotta be honest deep within, and that's where that divine inventory comes in, because doing inventory is not always going to be an amazing thing. We got to, again, it's going to be some uncomfortable things that's within that soul that we got to get to. But you feel better later, and don't look at it as I used to say, don't look at studying oneself and getting to know our soul and stuff like that. It don't always have to be this dramatic thing. It can be fun getting to know oneself. Some of our quirks can be funny, as long as it's not toxic and, hurting ourselves and no one else. I'm talking just things that we have hidden in our body that we just get used to over the years, Man, you'd be surprised. As I said, the mind and the body is a fickle thing. Be surprised what hides in our subconscious. We can either surprise ourselves or amaze ourselves too, because we can be some amazing beings, as melanated brothers and sisters, just a righteous being overall. It's amazing what the positive mind can learn and grow into. We'll look back and be like, man, I can't believe how I used to think. Oh my God. I told my son how I used to think and how I used to talk. So one can change if one put forth the effort, and focus. Like I said, focus needs more focus. I'm telling you, can never have too much focus, and staying aware. And pass it on to other generals. Be in the business of building generals, and not having a selfish spirit. Have a selfless spirit. But again, not to the point where we're naive or stupid or dumb. I'm not talking about that. A firm, selfless spirit. Again, we get up in enough levels of awareness, we'll know who to give our energy to and not. We'll be still, like this house in the middle of this water here, just peaceful. Look like it's, because you got brothers and sisters that know. And I'm talking about the righteous ones now. One that's been studying philosophy and human nature for a long time. I'm talking about teachers who just got philosophy and human nature embedded in their soul. Now, you got brothers and sisters that know how to balance their emotions and stuff like that. And people, I would say evil entities or toxic people on the outside that are not with truth and arguing and all that. They look at people who carry positivity as easy prey. But guess what? We are not. We just know how to have balance. But I tell you what, F with one of our divine warriors out here. It might look still like this house on this water here, on this banner. But best know that we are protected and we are warriors. Those who are root revolutionaries, we can make it look like we easy pickings, but fuck with us and see what happens. I'm talking about, brothers and sisters who've been on this planet for a while and know what it is and ain't taking no shit, and are aware and on point in our generals. We might look peaceful on the outside, but it's a warrior within. And a lot of us carry that. Generals. A lot of us carry that general warrior spirit deep within, but we know how to be peaceful, so that's what this banner represents. As I said, great divine power cannot be matched at all. Divine power can never be matched at all. Again, I don't do coincidences. I've seen too many divine signs in my own life, my family's life, brothers and sisters I've met, maybe along the way on a journey in the world, and even online. I see the signs. Again, I know who the heroes are, and I know who the allies are, because I'm an ally myself, I'm what you call, as I like to say, I'm like a secret righteous assassin. You know what I'm saying? I'm that one that's, you can't see me, but I'm protecting you. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like to be, I don't know, it's like my own little joy. I like supporting like brothers and sisters. They don't even know I'm supporting them. That's like my own little joy. I like doing that. I'm the silent hero. I like doing that because that real connection, it was that great divine and mama nature. Because again, if we want to use that narrative, that God can see all. So that's why I do that. Because in my theory, that secret connection to that great divine and mama nature, that higher power, is the things the world don't see. But guess what? That great divine sees it. Mother nature sees it. And it puts a smile on those two forces' face. So that's why I do that. It's like my own little joy, So it's beautiful. And sometimes I support in public too, but I just love doing that. It keeps me grounded, it keeps me authentic, because I got to keep myself in check too, so I can be as honest with myself, and it feels better, and it's good for our immune system, brothers and sisters. So, conquer our life, all points of our life, pinpoint every little area in our body that we need to, and in our personal lives, in the world, what we're viewing, Anything that hinders us, don't let it fester. Please, I'm begging you, because I want all of us to be great warriors. And that's what I see. I see generals. It's a general in all of us. I see it. A lot of these teachers out here, the righteous ones now, brother or sister, that's what we see in us. It saddens some of us. It's heartbreaking. Again, to see power in a brother or sister that we know they can have. But everyone has to make a choice. Everybody has their own journey, if they're able to. I always got to reiterate that, if they're able to. Medical conditions or sickness or circumstantial things. I always kind of bring that up. But if one is healthy, mind, body, and soul, we run out of excuses. But, be the best the best of ourselves, the best way we can every day, And I say, and we stick with it, and we finally get to a point where we know that great divine power can't be matched, I'm telling you. And we'll look back and we'll be so glad, brothers and sisters, spell breakers, brothers and sisters in the world, online. I don't give a damn. Whatever we got to do, righteously, conquer our life, spell breakers, and be like my banner here, and be a strong house of peace. Because still waters run deep, brothers and sisters. So stay the warriors and stay the generals. And as I said, conquer our life by any means. Righteously, though. Salute.